also said the thing, what he said about the profit also. Profit also. I could say I've honestly never heard any Jew ever say something like that about the prophet. Never, ever, never.
Some of the content on these women's Instagrams. They came in earlier now on Trail and everyone wishes to big on Instagram. One of them is actually quite popular.
I put the link in the chat. Maybe we can wonder about she's not major. No, because I like these new punching bags. I'm tired of freaking sample Zionists punching something. I think some people that I asked to see if you can bring somebody up here. And let's see if we can entertain some of these new Zionists. The update presents. Is it the trio again? The send it to me after we remember something that I'm like, I need something Zionist. I'm tired of this. And the Black Rabbi, I think I'm probably might end up blocking the future.
Maybe we need to have our own Instagram page, you know, Taylor for Zionists to bring them in.
Better be more for Zionists. Better be space for Zionists. So we need to get them to review what happened on 7th of October, how it's bad, and then you switch it within 2 minutes. Did you hear what he said? Yes, now. I have the comment pointed up on YouTube, Mr. He had literally said my brother Faz made a comment about, even if Robert Moses' piece of message line was to come to them and tell them that you're spreading corruption on the land, you're killing, civilian babies and whatnot, they would even put, shut him down or whatever. The guy goes, yeah, we'll shoot him in the head. Disgusting.
That's almost kind of what happened the first time.
Well, it's nonsense, and it takes him out of the budget either.
Then you had the full limits of that car, and it slid me right up on out of there. You don't need that much horsepower. I be trying to tell my cousin that he like a Hellcat person, and I be like, I might get the, what's the one with the wheel in it? The Bumblebee? Is it the T?
That's a scat pack.
Yeah, I might just get that one. You don't even need the, like, nah, I need the, I want the supercharge. I want the game with coaches.
He gave us the religion, but we can change it. He gave it to us to change and to do with what we please. And he says everybody in Israel is like this now. Something's going on in Israel. This is why this is the big wall. What is it? The Adrian wall? That's what we need.
Adrian's wall.
Fake wall. Adrian. You said Adrian, right?
Adrian.
Oh, Adrian. Okay.
I'm a Jewish
H. Adrian's wall.
That's a good Jewish name.
Yeah, I think so.
So, that's a different David. That's a different David. I think last time I spoke to David said he more supports Israel. Right, David?
He's got a lot of flags in his bio. Usually international people and big supporters in Israel. Like Alejandro Mayorkas. Good Jew.
was my New York buddy. Chatted me when I first met him. He's a music guy. Asked about my background. And I said, well, my father's from Cuba. He goes, Dave, I know a lot of Cubans in New York. Even you, I appreciate the compliment.
That's a compliment.
The Cubans had a reputation. The Cubans had a reputation that they were called the Jews of the Caribbean because they were very intelligent, bright culture, industrious. That's how the Jews like.
They have their own country for 80 years. Using the American weaponry. Summary industry.
That's a good
It's the only country in the Caribbean to give a black eye to the American imperialists and get away with it. So,
Israel did
what does that tell you?
Israel's in a different part of the world. We did that back.
How's that working out?
I agree. It has worked out horribly.
Yeah,
For the Cuban people, it's turned out horribly.
David, do you still support Israel morally, or you change your position?
Well, that's a kind of loaded question because I support Israel's right to exist. Now, whether or not the policies are necessarily something I support or not support, I mean, I think I side with some of the Israeli citizens that
Like that, you know, just left to Israel, and they get together, coexist with each other. Why can't they not do that?
Well, how good is that working out for you?
So the reason I answer this, if you agree on this, right, if you agree on right to exist, or do you agree on how it was created by annihilating genocide Palestinians and thinking cleansing them and killing them, butchering them, slaughtering them, raping little of their killed children as well, according to Torah. They did the Deir Yassin massacre, that's a famous one. They killed 100 people in one of the villages. Do you agree on all of this? Because look, as soon as you say right to exist, which means you are vouching for all of this that took place in when they created the state of Israel.
Look, I'm an American citizen, and there's a lot of things that have been done in my country's name, and our vote.
Yeah, but we condemn that. We as an American, we condemn it.
Oh, I mean, I don't condemn what?
We all condemn what happened to the Native Americans, how they were butchered and slaughtered and genocided, millions and millions of...
Yeah, I mean, but there's more modern examples of America's overreach.
Yeah, but they just were allowed to zoom around the secrets of America. They didn't know
Here, to be fair, no one's asking us to get back our land. I don't support Israel. What's happening, but all I'm saying is...
Do you support Roosevelt-Alavi, Nima? Do you support Roosevelt-Alavi?
all I'm saying is...
Do you support Roosevelt-Alavi? Do you support Roosevelt-Alavi?
Somewhat.
No, not somewhat. You have a flag. You support Roosevelt-Alavi. Just come into town. I'm gonna talk to David. Yeah, I'm gonna talk to David. He's an American. I don't want to talk to you about him right now. When I open up Roosevelt-Alavi rooms, I'll make sure to have you, and I actually look at him as a terrorist.
I'm actually an American.
It doesn't matter. You live in Los Angeles and you fucking, what do you call it, the Roosevelt-Alavi that literally fucking sided with Netanyahu that has killed over 100 people in Iran and killed over 50 children in Iran. Yeah, just shut your fucking mouth. There's no point. I'm not to an American. That's David is American. Somebody that's actually an American, not a fucking traitor to this country. So David, going back to you, shut the fuck up for a second. Just shut up. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking mouth. Shut your fucking Roosevelt-Alavi. Go shut that flag up your asshole. Fucking idiot. Shut that Roosevelt-Alavi flag up your asshole.
This is not a Roosevelt-Alavi.
Yeah, fucking Roosevelt-Alavi, you bitch. He was a dictator, he was a terrorist motherfucker, and this guy wants to believe him for it. They butchered and slaughtered over 900 people in Iran. Iran, and I've killed about 50 children over there. You support the fucking killing of children in Iran.
Oh,
It's like, what made people like you? Disgrace to you're a disgrace to the fucking all of this whole cause. Just shut your fucking mouth. Yeah, Pallavi, just shut your fucking mouth.
You're such a fucking.
Yeah, shut your fucking mouth. Yeah, shut your fucking mouth, Pallavi supporter. Go suck your Pallavi's dick. Go suck Pallavi's dick. Go suck your Pallavi's dick. Go suck your Pallavi's dick.
Indian guy.
It doesn't matter. I don't give two fucks about India or Pakistan. I don't give two fucks. People like you should slap yourself in the fucking face for supporting the Raza Pahlavi.
You should slap yourself in the fucking face.
There's no point with that. I want to talk to David now. So David, going back to you.
Why would you pick on me, man? I mean, I rather.
I want to touch on something. Because
Every time I jump into your room, you fixate on me.
No, because I want to see if you change your position.
This is a Iranian. Why?
This Iranian, oh my god, dude, I hijack my room. This Iranian with the Pahlavi supporters for some reason. The Pahlavi supporters are a fucking disease to the human society. They're fucking disease. They're a disease. They're scum of this earth. They live in Los Angeles, and they're bloody crap for Netanyahu because Netanyahu came up with a statement. We support your cause. How oppressed you are. You're into fucking LGBTQ bullshit. You're really oppressed. They discourage you. I don't care. I don't care what your sets. You're another Pahlavi supporter. That's it. That's it.
Ask me first.
I don't care.
No, if you ask me, you're gonna be.
Oh my god. Stop hijacking my fucking room into Iranian. I don't give two fucks about Iranian right
What
now.
I'm saying is you never asked me my opinion on what's going on.
Okay, what is your opinion? What is your opinion on Israel?
I absolutely don't support what's doing. I absolutely.
Okay, does it have the right to exist?
I support the two-state solution. Yes.
Does Israel have the right to exist?
Not with the current situation and current border.
So which border are you talking about?
The 1967 borders, which the world agreed on, which the international community agreed on, that's a reasonable two-state solution. But with the current situation, no, absolutely not.
Netanyahu back in 2015, he turned it down. 2023, prior to something. So there's no point of freaking having the two-state. I don't even, it's a myth. And the Hasbara book that was published in 2009, and the Israelis, they shut down the Hasbara book project in 2012 that was based out of Israel. They literally said
Right now it's ethnic cleansing. I'm totally.
I'm talking about, hold on, let me finish. Actually, the Hasbara book said it was 2009, and they literally said, blame Hamas, anywhere you get stuck, blame Hamas or, Iran. That's it. Put the blame on Hamas and Iran every time. And this was mentioned in the Hasbara book. But the issue here is this was never a plan. The two-state is just like a myth. I don't think it's ever going to happen. And the countries that are going to be out there are going to recognize that.
I'm totally with you. It's an atrocity. But I was just referring to that example you used. The United States, which I'm a citizen of, also established the country on stolen land at the time, right? All I'm saying is, if you look at it logically, all the Jews are not going to leave Israel, right? So that's not an option. So what is an option? An option is to pressure Israel into accepting some sort of two-state solution. That's the only play that you have, right? You don't have another play. That's all I'm saying. It's a very pragmatic way of looking at it. I'm not glorifying Israel and saying, yeah, they're doing the right thing. They should build a last house. No, I'm with you. I'm saying this is ethnic cleansing. It's absolutely horrific. It's disgusting that it's happening in front of our eyes. But what is your practical solution? You can't just say, oh, okay, now all the second, third generation Jews pack up and leave, go back to Poland. That's never going to happen.
Did you not hear what I said?
I would like to hear from the beginning.
Why can they not coexist instead of having a fucking right to anything?
Absolutely. Binational.
That's what I was trying to ask David. That's what I was trying to ask David until I was completely interrupted by, Raza Pahlavi supporter. See what I'm saying?
There you go again, disrespectful and not even.
Raza Pahlavi supporter is not disrespectful. You don't support Raza Pahlavi.
For the fifth time, this flag was here at least 600 years ago. This is the national Iranian flag. I don't know which part of this you know.
Do you support Raza Pahlavi?
I told you the answer somewhat, not everything, no.
Okay. Somewhat, you think you have 50%, right?
Not like yet. Somebody supports some of the policies, but no, I thought it was a mistake going to Israel. I absolutely do. And I got booted off the Reza Pahlavi rules. It's funny, I got cursed by them too, by my own fellow Iranians because of that. And it's funny now you're saying this stuff. So I'm kind of in no man's land politically, which is totally fine. That's my problem. So I'm telling you is first you gotta ask people what their opinion is on the issue, and then you can attack them.
Why would you side with Hitler?
You mean Hitler? There's a Pahlavi?
Raza Pahlavi literally fucking sided with Netanyahu, and he supported the attack on Israel.
That was a tactical mistake. I told you very clearly.
Hold on. That was a tactical mistake. People that live in Los Angeles, especially the Raza Pahlavi supporters, live in America, they all supported this fucking thing to attack the Zionist criminal, the Zionist entity.
Not all. Don't use the
Majority of them. Have you been on Twitter Spaces? Go check on Twitter Spaces. I've been on Twitter Spaces.
all of the Iranian community in Los Angeles. It's not wrong. You're a smart guy. You would want to know.
They're a minority, but they make a lot of noise. Okay?
There you go.
Hold on. Raza Pahlavi is a minority, but they make a lot of fucking noise on social media, on social audio apps.
You don't understand the intrinsic factor in the Iranian political diaspora. You don't get it because you're not Iranian. It's fine. But you can't just open the mic and attack people about something you don't understand. If I talk about
You sided with Hitler, right? It makes you Hitler.
there you go again.
I just told you, you support 50% of the things that he does. He literally stood with Netanyahu to do the attack inside Iran. That ended up killing, almost more than 900 people, amongst them were 50 children. And do you know
We killed all the children. Is that what we're trying to say? Yeah.
No. Raza Pahlavi supported Netanyahu doing the attack on Iranian soil. That's a sovereign nation. Do you not understand that?
Show me the statement of that post.
Okay, do you support Israel attacking Iran to topple IRGC?
You don't know what's good. Like what he was doing, he was cheating the whole time for all 12 days. He was trying to overthrow the government. He was trying to make people rise up in Iran. Nobody rose up, thankfully. But he was trying to get people to rise up and do it.
Listen, Lee, I understand what you're saying. Okay, I see the hopelessness of the situation. I get it. Okay, there were some Iranians who were cheering to the back of
No,
I get it.
was doing this.
Listen, Lee, hear me out.
He's acting like he's ignorant. He doesn't know. He thinks like he's innocent.
No, I'm telling you a straight answer. I'm giving you a very straight answer, okay? These are intrinsic factors in the Iranian diaspora and the political discourse of Iran.
Then why are you
It's
lying?
it's very complex and it's very hard for you to understand.
It's not hard to
That's what I'm saying.
It's not hard to understand. If he says he stands with Netanyahu, and Netanyahu did the attack, and a lot of you Pahlavi supporters.
He's gonna say that. He absolutely didn't say that.
Hold up. When I opened the room and Iran was getting attacked for 12 days, I opened the room every day and talked about Iran. I had a lot of people come to this whole, I met up to 100 people, mixed Iranian, non-Iranian. I had Pahlavi supporters. Do you know they would come in and they would justify the killing of kids in Iran just because they're from IRGC?
That's disgusting. I condemn that.
This is why I hate the president. This is why I hate the supporters.
I'm telling you, the entire opposition to the regime is not a unicorn. They don't all think the same. I've been trying to tell you guys this for the last 10 minutes.
You lied about Raza Pahlavi. You don't know the
Didn't
facts.
say Reza Pahlavi himself, the crown prince himself, didn't say that I want Israel to attack my country. He never said that. Show it to me.
You follow him on Twitter?
No, hold Post the tweet.
No, just asking a question. You follow him or no?
I don't have Twitter, but look.
Okay. This is a very common thing. The whole time, every single day, was posting videos.
I want to see it. I want to get educated. Post it. I want to get educated.
You look at educated, just like that shit.
Anyways, so David, what I was saying to you about the indigenous people, they're not the problem, right? They're not the problem in America. They can do everything. They can buy properties, do whatever. But the people that are indigenous to that land, they can't come back inside. You know, even the UN resolution says this. That was what I was trying to do, right? Now, when we say right to exist, we pretty much supported the Zionist entity. You could probably make it clear that, look, we can do a two-state solution, but what they're doing is a fucking genocidal shit that they've done. I mean, look at how in bed we are with the Zionist entity. Trump literally gave threat to the FEMA. We're going to take over $1.9 billion if Canada, if the boycott is on an any shape or form. He gave threats to Canada, and Canada recognized Palestine as a state. We're going to have a turf war. This is how and you should be asking, are you a MAGA, David? Are you a MAGA supporter?
No, I'm not.
But you vote for Trump, right?
No, I do not vote for Trump.
Okay. But we should all be asking this question. What's in this Epstein file that's so connected to Israel and freaking America? Like, what's in it?
No, I don't know. I keep thinking there's a lot of smoking guns, and we can all kind of, divine what's going on with that. And I don't think this evidence is going to see the light of day, if you ask me. I don't think it's going anywhere unless the Congress can get together and act on this. We saw what Mike Johnson did. He punted. He closed the office down. So everybody go home, take an early vacation. There's nothing to see here. But, as we know, the podcasts, the influencers, the MAGA right, they want to see what's in there because Trump campaigned on this. He campaigned on this, the whole QAnon connection, the Hillary Pizzagate. So we finally have something that's real deep to it. And the main culprit that's sitting in prison alive gets moved to minimum security prison in Texas. So what does that tell you? She's cutting a sweetheart deal. The prison she's at, there's a policy where they're not allowed to sex traffickers or sex offenders in this prison. So how are they getting around that? So anyway, it'd be bad for Trump if he was in those files and those saw the light of day. It would, he would have to be impeached. And, I don't know.
He has already been impeached.
I know, but he wasn't removed from office. There's being impeached and there's being removed from office, so.
Did you support, the Democratic Party, or, did you support Kamala?
Well, I didn't always support Kamala either, but it's the other California where we got Oregon a failed state with policies that are just all over the map. A homeless problem, the Democratic Party siphoned off billions without any answer to where money's going. Meanwhile, all the homeless around my area is still percolating and not being handled. We have the World Cup coming next year, and then we got the Olympics after that. So my city's got a lot of work to do to fix what's happening here. And
Yeah, I mean, that's understood. I don't support your position, sir. I actually need, from the bottom of my heart, I need because of how to be supported. I MAGA supporters are questioning everything now. They're questioning the Epstein files. He's leaving a lot of smoke in the MAGA supporters. They're questioning a lot of shit that Trump is doing right now. And when he said about the FEMA, they started questioning all the FEMA. my thing is, oh, how the fuck are you gonna take away the funding from FEMA?
Trump's.
I get it. I voted for Trump, but I get it. A lot of the things are not. Yeah, absolutely. If we talk, you'll see that we actually agree on a lot of stuff. But when you shut down communication by labeling and attacking the other side, you're not going to get to any resolution. Because that's what this platform is for, so we can talk and kind of learn about each other's.
I get it. But, I didn't vote for Trump over Kamala, and even for Greenberg, I didn't vote because she ain't gonna choose to win anyways. But, you finished, David, what you're gonna say, and then,
Well, I'm just saying, yeah, I mean, look, we either care about the rule of law, we care about, the railroading of little children, the trafficking, or we don't. And we're not even believing the victims. I mean, the victims know what happened. Why is the Queen of England cutting a big check to exonerate her son? Right? And the woman who received those monies ends up committing suicide. 10, $11 million, she committed suicide. So, anyway, it's just a bad look. It's just a bad look. And, Trump's going to be 80 years old. This will be a horrible legacy that he will leave. This will crush everything that he's been trying to do in the second term. And, I don't think the MAGA faithful want to see it happen. As much as Arsenal's on the right, they want to find out the truth because they don't think he's in there. So. Yeah, in what capacity? Right? Either photographs or the actual witnesses saying I was with Trump and I was 15 years old and I was on that plane with him. I mean, what's in there? Right? They've already redacted a bunch of stuff. And in Bondi, this is Trump's private law firm. This is the Department of Justice. It's basically doing his bidding. And if she had any balls and was following the Constitution, she'd go with the evidence. This is what it does. They don't find out the evidence and they crush it and suppress it. That'll get you disbarred in any court of law in America. Right? But Trump has all the power as the executive. And he's got a Supreme Court in his back pocket. It backstops his behavior. So he's kind of huge meeting like hanging over right now. And what do you think he's going after? Clinton? What do you think he's going after? Oprah? He's going after all these personalities. He's trying to take everybody off the Senate here. So it's not going to work out. I don't think it's going to work at all. I think the Congress reconvened. There was no Russian hoax. Russian influence.
The evidence that's now coming out that the Obama administration was planning. What about the evidence coming out? How do you know this is not one of those witch hunts? I'm just asking. I don't know. I'm just asking. How do you know this is not one of those Trump witch hunts that we're so used to?
Well, I don't know if you guys have seen the memes that are coming out, the history of Trump and his relationship with FC. He was on Howard Stern, and Howard Stern exposed him in an interview about how he's a predator. And he was joking about it. And I don't think his daughter was on the show in this particular case.
No, it was the same time that, he said, definitely know something about that because you're a predator. And he's like, last it up, he's doing the next time.
Yeah, he owns a pageant, teenage pageant in Russia, and they said that he would just walk into the dressing room unannounced and walk around the girls like it was no big deal.
Yeah, there's a song saying that.
Yeah, I mean, so let me ask you, look at how they eviscerated Obama. They started out by trying to eviscerate him, saying he wasn't born in this country. They took him down for orangutan zoo. If Obama had even 1 ounce of it, you think he would have lasted? They would have ran him out of town. So I think there's a double standard here.
They're trying to hang it on the ground. It was the one paying to get front page news about Obama being born in America. Was Trump funding it?
Yeah, I mean, look, that's what lit the fuse for him to sow the we were talking about how America, this was stolen land. Who stole this land from the Indians? It wasn't George Washington and the founding fathers. They were all sitting fat on their farms. It was the white Catholic Protestant immigrant that came here, fleeing Europe, that did that. They got on the horses, they went west, they took their guns, they fought the battles, and they used those people to basically do their bidding. And then we started announcing over Mexico to take the rest of it. And so the descendants of these people are the Trump supporters. What does a Trump supporter have in common with a billionaire?
It doesn't seem like there's a lot of commonality there.
When the South fought the North in the Civil War, those soldiers didn't know man, they weren't slaveholders. And yet they were defending an institution that was competing with their wages. Free labor is day labor. Right? So, then we saw the formation of the Ku Klux Klan after that, how Reconstruction basically didn't go anywhere, and then we had Jim Crow, and then we had the Supreme Court finally saying, hey, segregation's illegal. And so these same people are marinating in all these states in our country, still having these thoughts and ideas about what it means to be white American. And so when Trump came along and blew the dog whistles, that's what got him the vote, right? And all he did was give tax cuts to the rich, cut it down to nothing. He's enriched himself with all this crypto bullshit, forming big deals. He's using these tariffs just to cut deals. He's leveraging our economy to cut outsized deals with the Middle East, Japan, Vietnam. Who knows what else he's getting out of all this? So, we're all paying that price, unfortunately.
He also got them to invest billions, records, trillions of dollars in the U.S. economy. And he also rearranged all the horrible trade deals we have with everyone. I mean, there are multiple sides to each story. I mean, if you look at one side,
This was the U.S. that promised to invest. And it was the Middle East and Japan, Taiwan.
securing investments, yeah. So, I mean, I get it. Still said I get it. There's a lot of letdown, on the MAGA movements. There are a lot of things that aren't clear, especially when it comes to the America First movements. I mean, I'm frustrated too at times. I don't think we should support Israel tooth and nail. I think there should be a fine line. Like, there should be a line in the sand. I mean, like, American interest comes first, and whenever Israel's interest does not align with our interest.
With Israel. We need to progress with Israel.
Yes, absolutely. If the interest doesn't align, absolutely.
Yeah, so up to 2018, the aid package that we were giving them, only Israel was able to use all that money in cash for their own personal expenses. Only Israel. But other countries, they get treated like shit. And Israel is the one that gets the most money. And it's
Yeah, I mean, I think there's even a law in the books, including in this, that we have some policies or some laws in the books that forbid us providing aid to countries that have considered nuclear powers. So we've always pretended or looked the other way. We haven't really elevated the knowledge of Israel's stockpile nukes. We don't know how many they have.
Some say we do, but I think there's a policy in our Congress that was written to address that. So, but let's face it, look, Israel wants unchecked power in the Middle East. They want to be the hegemonic power in that region, and they picked apart, taken apart all of Iran's proxies, and Iran's next. Iran doesn't get its act together, and somehow, get their nuclear program, exposed and brought to the fore. Iran's running away with it. They know unless they get a nuke, they're going to continue to be, targeted the way they were. So I don't know how you answer that. There's not even a...
Let me ask you something, David, or I'll ask the panel. Do you think the Islamic Republic has helped the Palestinian cause in the past 46 years? It hasn't. The Islamic Republic of Iran. Do you think they've actually helped the cause? Like, where has the last 46 years the IRGC policies, where has it led to? If they do that,
not being worked up.
not be
Well, the Palestinians.
well, what's happening right now is this.
They're still not worked up.
Yeah, here's the other, was that guy, not Sinbar, the other guy, not was the other, Hania got assassinated in north of Tehran, dude. North of freaking Tehran. Hania got assassinated.
The RGC generals got assassinated.
Yeah,
Got assassinated.
yeah, but everybody got assassinated, exactly. Everybody close. Republic of Iran in the past 2 years got wiped out, got assassinated. Where has this led the Palestinian cause?
It doesn't mean it's a victory for Israel.
It doesn't mean it's a victory for Palestine either. It doesn't.
No. You're looking at it in a very...
Show me the right way to look at it.
Yes, you're looking at it very simplistically. These people, they signed up for these rules, right? They're not going into these rules saying, I'm never going to be assassinated. They're going into these rules knowing there's a very high possibility that they will be assassinated because there's people before them that were assassinated. Even the leaders of Hamas, I think the one that was in the wheelchair, I forgot what's his name, should be a scene or something like that. He was assassinated. He was in a wheelchair, right? The Israelis, they keep assassinating their leaders, and new leaders take their place over and over and over again.
Fair enough, totally fair. It's done for the cause. Tell me about the cause.
The cause is still alive. The cause is still alive 77 years after...
Is it better? Are Palestinians better off than they were 10 years ago? An honest answer. Are they?
Yeah, 10 years ago, nobody cared about Palestinians. So this is what I'm saying. You're asking very
Okay, so you're saying the awareness is opening. That's what you're saying. You're saying the awareness. I get it. You're saying
Just one second. You can't just answer it. You can't just answer a question. I didn't answer it.
you're right.
The question you're asking, is the situation better than it was, right? You're acting like, they're just ordering food at a drive-thru, right? You're asking for your rights as a human being from people that don't believe in equal rights for all humans, okay? These are supremacist people. So you're asking, is the situation better? 10 years ago, nobody cared, nobody outside of Palestine for the most part cared about Palestinians, okay? The only reason they care about it now is because they see the reality of the Israelis. The Israelis, they believe in Jewish supremacy, right? They believe in killing as many people as you want. They believe in the Dahiyya doctrine, which was, they tested it in Lebanon, and then they did it in Gaza, and then in any other war, they do the same thing. In Syria, they do it even in Iran. This is why people know about Palestine now. And the new generation of Westerners, they hate Israel, they hate Zionism, and this would have never happened, 10 years ago.
I'm absolutely with you. So there's more awareness in America and around the world. Absolutely, the public opinion is shifting, and that's all very good. I'm totally with you on that. Okay, and I'm totally with you on the leaders didn't sign up for this to live comfortable lives. They signed up for this knowing that there's a chance they're going to get assassinated and lose everything. Totally
your situation now is worse than it was, 5 years ago or 10 years ago. It's a very simplistic way of looking at it. It's like a person that's overweight, he starts going to the gym and he's running, he's very stressed and tired. You're like, well, look at your situation. You're very stressed and your body hurts. Wouldn't it be better for you to be on your couch, eating chips and, drinking some?
So, any freedom movement you see throughout the world, there's always casualties, Algeria, 1.5 million people have lost their lives. Look at India, lost a lot of people. There's 1 million to people, right? Even their partition land, whatever. Look at, the black folks were enslaved in America. They've lost lives as well. They didn't violent attacks and whatnot. In Canada, there's strong freedom.
Every country in Africa too. Like 20 million people were killed by Leopold.
Yeah.
Namibia, the Germans, they practiced their genocide in Namibia before they did it in Germany and Poland. All these countries, people have to suffer. But, thinking like, let's just sit comfortably while everything, you can even look at the West Bank. The West Bank is not fighting the way that Gaza is fighting, right? Every day they're taking more and more land, kicking people out, taking their houses, every single day in the West Bank.
But Lee, I totally get it, but from my understanding, what you guys are saying is this is a transition point, okay? This is part of the struggle, and the struggle is alive, it's moving, and this is a transitional phase. But what I'm saying is, you're looking at all the cases of struggles against an imperial power, which have prevailed at the end. What about the cases that haven't prevailed? What about all the cases where they struggled, they fought, but because of bad strategy or bad backers, in this case, you might disagree with this, but I don't see the Islamic Republic of Iran as an honest.
But this is a decision that they made for themselves, right? We're suffering from outsiders, but they themselves made this decision, right? The last election they had was in 2005, but they still elected Hamas to represent them. After October 7th, the number of people that supported Hamas in the West Bank increased. So the Palestinian people by themselves chose resistance. Even just being alive inside Palestine, this is considered resistance. Because Israel is going to kill them, they want to kick them out. So, we're just saying like, this is not doing anything. This is a decision they made for themselves. They said even if all of them have to die for one Palestinian to live free, they're willing to do it. So we can't just be like, just sit in your current situation and let the Israelis keep stealing your houses. Nobody's going to agree to that.
But is there any chance that the Islamic Republic of Iran has a different dark agenda that doesn't necessarily mean freeing Palestine? Is that a possibility, or do you completely have faith in a regime that brutalizes its own people for the past 46 years, has the highest rate of execution, highest rate of political prisoners, highest rate of...
There's spies out there. Should they not be executed?
What was the question again?
In Iran, and there's spies out there.
No, somebody else spies. If you're in college, if you're a dissident in college, dude, I'm from there. This is what I'm saying. There's a lot of stuff.
There's nobody spies in Iran. They're not the college students.
No, of course there's spies. There's spies everywhere. But what I'm saying is, you don't have political freedom to even criticize your own government. You don't have that. You don't have that luxury. If you talk freely, there are people on this app.
Can you criticize here or not? It doesn't matter. Can you say anything against the Jews?
You can. The blowback might be horrible. You might lose your job.
People getting arrested at the college universities, they turn people in.
Now, and that,
No, that's not the federal government, not the people at the university.
true. I'm saying that's shameful. I don't support.
No. You made a claim that you don't have to. If you say anything you say anti-Islam in America, he doesn't believe nothing happens to you. You say anti-Christian, nothing happens to you. As soon as you say anti-Jew, you have a problem.
Absolutely.
You see the difference there? So respectfully, we don't have freedom of speech in America either.
Absolutely, you're right.
Why would you say that the freedom of speech criticize?
I'll explain it. Absolutely, I agree. lack of leadership. Right now, the water and electricity goes off for 4 or 5 hours in most of the provinces. Okay, the lack of
Not
misuse of
because of the
funds.
sanction, not because of the sanction that have been already put on Iran for the last 40 years.
Let me finish this point. We can talk about that, see, but let me finish this point real quick. The amount of misuse of funds, corruption, political repression, okay, that happens inside Iran. This is what I'm trying to explain. And it's not all rainbows and butterflies.
Nobody said it's a rainbow and butterflies.
It doesn't happen in America.
Yeah,
It doesn't happen in America. Our funding is so there's no comparison. There's no comparison. We give $66 billion to Israel. Did I agree on it? That's American.
Absolutely not. I didn't agree either.
Did you agree on it? Okay, so you don't see that as a corruption.
There's absolute corruption here. There are a lot of problems. And
I don't understand with these President supporters, man. I seriously don't get it with the President supporters.
No, it's not principality. Listen, hear me out.
This is your mentality, right? When you look at America, you live in the West, right? Because of certain things, you know, you've been privileged, whatever. You want to talk shit about your country. But if you know the comparison, they're both in the similar basket, by the way.
No, but hear me out. I'm not saying anything bad. I love my country and I want it to be free and I want to visit. But all I'm saying is the situation.
really like what? Can you give us an example of a country now that is considered free from your own point of view?
No, but see.
That doesn't have a corruption or doesn't have an elite class that is protected?
You're absolutely right. I'm not saying every other country is like a paradise and Iran is hell. I'm not making that claim. What I'm saying is for you to understand why so many of the people inside Iran are disenfranchised, why they support what they support, is because of the dire situation inside Iran. And until you live that, you're not going to understand it.
We live that. We are from all over the freaking world that we have to deal with the same problems with different faces. The only difference between Iran is that in the face of the war they say no to the Israeli. What was the condition when Iran and Turkey was the allies 40 years ago?
See, I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why. See, the sanctions you mentioned. Why does a country, even if you have these crazy apocalyptic ideas, okay, let's put ideology aside. Why would you chant it? Why would you bring people to the street, burning flags and saying what you want? Why would you show your cards? Why would you be like, of course they're going to sanction you. Of course they're going to starve you. Of course they're going to humiliate you.
They control the cars that they can control, which is the economy, is from the outside. But the strength of Iran.
That's what I'm saying. They're giving them the
just a moment. Yeah. The fuel has to be when Iran was bending over to the foreign governments, when they were under the Pahlavi and there was an alliance between the Turkeys and the Irans and the Israeli, and the first people to promote Israeli statehood was the Iranian. Israel was the best friend of the foreign. It was cool, but all the money went into the freaking Shah, and the rest of the population was eating shit and getting tortured in the prison. Really? So the prison system that was under torture for anybody against the Shah.
I'll explain it to you. There's an interview with the Shah and Mike Wallace, and he talks about the Israel army, literally point blank. YouTube it right now, Mike Wallace.
God, it's just like the king in Egypt, the Farouk. They were all
He talks about it. Listen, he talks about it. The Shah was not bent over backwards for Israel. He actually did pay money to the Palestinian resistance. Look this stuff up. I'm not making any of this up. Look this stuff up. Okay, the Shah had a very balanced. Excuse me. The Shah had a very balanced approach to the region. Okay,
It wasn't balanced. It was just like the rest of the region for the most part, like the seas,
Look at it today.
like the
Look at it today.
welfare.
Where is the resistance right now?
Was it planted by the U.S.?
Exist.
Was it planted by the U.S. On the West? You know?
What
The
is
Shah?
it? all signed the paper to remove Mossadegh. He refused to leave. He ordered the parliament to be dissolved, which he didn't have the constitutional right to do, and that's where this whole debacle is. And then the military legally removed Mossadegh, and they didn't even kill him. He was under house arrest, and they didn't even execute him. So no, that was not a coup d'etat because he was the legal head of state.
It was a time for revolutionary at the time in the whole region. So you had the king in Egypt, the big states like Iran and Iraq and Egypt and Sudan, like all of those big population countries in the region, they went into the idea of being a republic and not a monarchy. That's why you only have the monarchy in the Arabian Peninsula, pretty much it, and Morocco. The rest of that is was turned into a republic. The people wanted the change at the time to transition into the nation-state ideology. It was a time of craziness, and we're still suffering from that. We're still in transition. Because the nation-state idea is foreign. It's been put on us, and it's been put up on us by the colonizer that they put the way of governance that pretty much control the systems. And if you control the system, you control the people. Would you rather being under a monarchy and like treated like the peasant for the rest of your life, knowingly that this is not the Islamic way, this is not the human right way even, because you don't have rights regardless.
See, what has happened in Iran has been very detrimental to Islam, actually. Sadly, and I say this very sadly, because the detrimental to people's belief in Islam, I said in Iran, because there's no social justices, people are treated worse than peasants for the most part. 60% is below the poverty line in one of the most resource-rich nations on earth. Corruption is absolutely out of this world. Inefficiency in the leadership is just on another level. Like, you guys gotta look at, you guys gotta call a spade a spade. I told you, Ace, why are the sanctions in place? When you tell the world you want to destroy, when you burn a flag and say that
No, that's not true. Because Egypt, for example, Egypt is under craziness of like pulling out money from the IMF, and it's 66% under poverty. Why is it kissing on Netanyahu's feet, pretty much? So at the end of the day, the colonizer, the way that they try to oppress the East to stay in their lane, they're gonna keep using the tools that they structured, engineered to keep you subjugated. The only thing
that's what the opposition says about the Islamic Republic. They say they were put there by the colonizers.
it could be, there is a possibility,
You
but
know,
the
there are
rate.
people who believe behind the scenes the Islamic Republic is an agent from Zion. Do you know that theory?
Some people think that theory, but it's still at the end of the
It's
day.
the thing that the earth is flat.
No, because I'll tell you why, Lee. How can a foreign government infiltrate, okay, an enemy country to a point where they know, like, what every leader in that country had for breakfast that day? They know exactly the
So they have spies. They have spies.
Localized word too. Like
Yeah, there's spies. There's people that, there's one guy that got
Or the
assassinated.
government's compromised. Why
That was
can't
executed
the
today.
government's compromised? Everybody's
So I said they have spies. So the thing is, there's a guy that was executed yesterday. He was a nuclear scientist, and he was giving information about the nuclear scientists and got other people killed. And there was even a French Jewish lady. They said she went into Iran.
Talking about Catherine Shackna.
Yeah. They said she spied on everybody.
Left
Just
with
friends with all of the
120
officials.
of the senior military command.
Yeah, so there's a possibility there. So just one second, bro. Hold on. Bro, just hold on. Take turns. Come on. It doesn't have to be a conspiracy where Iran and Israel are working on the same team. It could just be
even if they genuinely are, they've been compromised to a point where they have absolutely lost this war up until now. They haven't achieved a single thing they said they're going to achieve. Like, it's been 46 years, okay? They've spent a lot of the Iranian treasure. They've embezzled most of it. Let's not forget that. But the people in Iran are not happy with the status quo. The Palestinians have not achieved statehood, okay? Lebanon has just lost its resistance arm, right? The Hezbollah is not what it was. We can all agree on that. So things are not, if you're the resistance right now, things are not going too well, okay? And I know what you're going to say. You're going to
Why was this created?
It's going to take some time.
Why was this created?
It was created by the Islamic Republic, yeah.
Why was the reason for this being created?
They wanted to kick out the United States.
It was created in 1982 to kick out the Israelis. They were occupying the fucking Gaza.
Well, the U.S. was there too, the barricades and everything.
Yeah, but you get to it. It was because these Israeli motherfuckers, they were always going to steal other people's land. We should look into it.
No,
Why was it funded?
Right, but
And the funding that you talk about, that all the Iranians talk about, that the money is not coming in, staying inside Iran, it's given to the proxies. If Israel is America's proxy, and America is Israel's bitch, where America has given them about $66 billion from South Dakota up to now. Alright? Now, can you imagine if Iran gives that money to the proxy, you guys all cry about it?
they have.
You're gonna be in trouble. Do you know that there are more than 400,000 kids go missing in America every year? Right? They go missing every year. You know the amount of rape cases here that takes place in America? Now we have a bunch of states. We have 2 or 4 states. They don't even have any laws against bestiality in America. We should look into it. What else was it? There's a lot of these problematic shit that's going on, and I know people always bring up these points, but I'm gonna give you the heads up. I think you should go pay a visit to. You called me from India when you set up from India, right? I want you to go pay a visit to India. What is their number one problem? Just call me. You know what their number one problem is? It's a Twitter problem. Well, when they come into the pro-patty spaces, right? They never cry about their fucking, the people my oppressed and suppressed. Look into the Indian problem. That's a third world country, right? Do you know that they actually get rid of pregnant women within India? 6 or 7 guys, right? And they even fucking get rid of a whole bunch of women over there. It's not even a safe place for inside India, right? And all Muslims are illegal, not just Muslims, Christians, Muslims, and a whole bunch of minorities getting oppressed and suppressed in India. But the issue with the Palestinian supporters is always number one. We have a problem. We're always crying. Motherfucker, they have to. Iran that needs protection from all over the place. It's a fucking country that has a whole bunch of sanctions on it. Do you know I lived in Saudi Arabia for 10 years? You talk about your Iranian, how oppressed and suppressed you are, right? Do you know when I lived in fucking Saudi Arabia? Women couldn't even drive. They weren't allowed to drive. According to Saudi scholars, they did not allow women to drive. At one point, they didn't even allow women to fucking work. There's a lot of these different types of rules, regulations, so they're getting about now. Do you know, as about 6 or 7 year old, me walking to a fucking store, I had to carry a residency or a permit in my fucking pocket. And I actually got pulled over by the cops over there in Saudi Arabia. They're like, what is your Iqama? Iqama means a residency. So I would suggest you, before you cry about your fucking, Iranian problems, look into the other Muslim nations and other non-Muslim nations. What kind of problems that they're going through, and what kind of suffering they're going through, oppressed and suppressed. I understand you're into mini skirts and this and that. You want the LGBTQ to come back, just like the Taliban, the fucking largest LGBTQ bullshit in the heart of the Middle East. Like, motherfucker, why would you have LGBTQ bullshit? Homosexuals running around Tel Aviv. One third of the population homosexuals. And the amount of complaints you have that all of these they're executing. Let them execute because there are people that are spying on your country. You should be proud that some of these people did spy on Iran. How do you know that? You don't even live in Iran.
How do you know they are spies?
How do you know they're not your spies? Go and tell you.
I've lived there before.
I lived in Oman wants countries. If the country says it's a spy, what do I do?
Find a way to report.
American government resource. What do we do about that?
They even use Afghans to spy, so there are
American government? Yeah, American government. That's the problem.
Yeah, so they came in and they claim and they're part of the big part of the problem.
well, they're not a big part of the problem, Nima.
They are. They came, they saw, they conquered. They just came millions.
What do you mean conquer, dude? Like, what?
Conquer what? If you know the history of Iran and Persians, it was Afghanistan, Nima.
No, it
So
wasn't.
if anyone conquered, you guys conquered.
No, you're not Persian. You're different. You just
Oh, you Persian. So what? You are no kisser?
I'm not saying we're better or worse. I'm just saying we're different.
What does that mean? It's different how? You have wings?
No, we have a right to have a homeland just like
What's a
everyone.
homeland? That sounds very Zionist stuff here.
It's not Zionist. Everybody has to
It is. It is.
So,
It is. What
going back to the topic of being conservative, I think you should go live in Saudi Arabia, live in UAE, and I've been to, and I've actually flown in.
Yeah, it's a freaking paradise. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I mean, it's a paradise, but was it a paradise? Now it's a paradise for people that are pedophiles that move from Israel to over there.
It is.
Yeah.
There's disgusting.
And do you know hang on, see, do you know that a lot of our terrorists over there, do you know anybody that kicks out of the country, a politician, the UAE takes them in? Can you believe it?
Lots of trafficking, sex
And
trafficking.
trafficking.
That's why it's paradise for the Zionists. It's paradise.
Listen, the Islamic Republic couldn't.
Money laundering, fake economy. Are you serious? Is this paradise? This is paradise stated.
Okay, it's hell. It's not
For
hell.
Zionists, they sell their bodies as paradise.
Okay, that's okay, but listen, it's not true. Millions of millions upon millions, okay, to a lot of space, to a lot of jobs.
Who planted those borders? Who put these borders in? Who
These
drove the
borders, they
borders?
weren't secure, they were protected, and now
What
they're
do you
trying to
mean?
kick
What
them
do you
out.
mean? What do you mean? Who drove
But
those
that was like you're
borders?
saying you're
Who
supporting
made
them,
it?
and kick them out, so do you support them?
Actually,
Kick them out.
they're not kicking them out. They are leaving.
They already kicked out a million of them, what do you
Okay, even if they do, because now we have an Islamic
Please support
temperance.
that, please. Take it.
Yes, thank God America left. Thank God that's what we got with Afghans. That's why we're trying to go back to their country.
Why don't they all go back to their Islamic country?
And they are. They're in the process. They've been sent projects. The ones that you guys don't want. Those ones you guys don't want to. I mean,
What's Iranians? Again, are they having like some different specific way? Iranians are fancy too. Like
yeah, they can't clean toilets because that's like looked down upon. So they use the Afghans. They like starve the Afghans. They feed the
That's why I
Afghans.
want Afghans to leave.
And that's where they're leaving.
Degraded.
Without Afghans, we have no water.
That's why I don't want Afghans, because I want them to be degraded.
so they used it 20 years of war to subjugate the Afghans people later on. Like the back to America. Like an apartheid.
Even Zeke was more about Afghans than the others.
And Afghanistan, up here, people, Pakistan, Brazilian, in
You really just ask them questions, and you'll start crying.
Afghans are amazing people. That's nothing but the best, but Iran is Iran.
It's the Afghans that again, it's Israel. Your project Afghans are not the Christian Afghans. They may touch everything, Questions are way we know they have that the 20-year government. More than half the time, as they have before, like that, they might not, they might not.
Why don't you get a ticket and go?
I was there. I'm only here for a little bit, but I could live in Afghanistan.
Iraq was Afghanistan. They pretty much killed the puppies he killed after they took over in 2 years. Zero freaking puppies. The Shabazzi boys are liberated.
Your double standards.
What do you mean?
It was these people that created a bunch of Aussies. You meant self-supply a bunch of Aussies.
It was an Afghan thing.
No, Nima. Go do some homework.
You know about Afghans. You know about Afghanism. It's
Not the Taliban, not the Taliban, not the Taliban, Iman.
Do you know that they actually banned, child brides? That was under your guys' regime. That was under
Afghanism,
yes.
poppy fields, child brides, and bunch of
The child brides, the bunch of us.
This has to work the first time. Just going back. 2,000 degrees, full glass, one shot, one just
Great for tactic.
So we're going to try to get that all nice and straight on there. Color on down. And then it's like, what I've done is set the down to shine in the factory.
Every liberation of decolonizing systems out there in their European thing.
Still on there expansion.
Crazy idea. Let's just towards after Adam Jordan, the un-European, the un-white, the un-Indian, now saying there is no such thing as a home. A home is given by a law to rule its people members of the law.
That's why the black
On the color of the ridges.
So you never asked you didn't know like the same company of America?
I started out like this, eye drops. It's freaking hit eye drops, but let me answer now. Unlike custom, they are displayed unnecessary. Let's look at their eyes. This is actually a look of carrots. That's skin from the eyes. Like you said here. And leopard gecko's effective will often stop eating, especially if it appears in both eyes, as they cannot see with their vision. In severe cases, they can lose their eyes with infection or ulceration, but when they do well with medicated eye drops or intermittent lessons to clear. This condition is often caused by vitamin D deficiency, which leads to improper shedding and the inability to clear debris from the eyes. Please do not attempt this at home, as it is very easy to get the eye if you do not know what you're doing or you do not have the adequate tools to do so. In this instance, we try to force that to be as gentle as possible. In many cases, medication or sedation may be needed, as subjects can also drop their parents from stress. Fortunately, this by tolerating the procedure well, almost as if you knew you were helping them. To prevent this issue, we should feed a variety of insects that have been gut-loaded with fresh fruits and vegetables, different powdered supplements that include multivitamin,
So why do we need to today? The departing to play. Right before you said that they don't have, was it, what was it, sir, that he said they don't have the?
Water, financial aspect of it, and I was.
Yeah, so
The basic Iranians like a higher standard of life.
Yeah, because they have to wear Gucci and Louis Vuitton walking around the streets, right?
They have, listen, they have the resources, land resources, they have the resources.
Listen, why does Cuba not have it? Why does Venezuela not have it? Why does Iran not have it?
That's their problem.
Why America doesn't have it?
You gotta ask the Cuban about Cuba's problem.
How many homeless people? How many homeless people in America? How much is the marginalized people in America? What about the border problem? I don't fucking care if it's a GDP that is made by a fake economy. I'm talking about the real problem for the real people that you just mentioned. It's an American problem as well, like the American empire has so many proxies.
Let's talk numbers. Give me GDP per capita.
I just told you,
Lima, it's American sanctions. American sanctions. Remember that. Cuba, Venezuela. Listen, Cuba, Venezuela, Iran. These countries these countries are having trouble financially because of American sanctions. If America would drop the sanctions and stay the fuck out of everybody's business, Iran would prosper tomorrow.
You know, the left is unknown to actually business. I pretty sure you guys have to be
Dude,
here.
I'm a fucking conservative Republican. What the fuck you talking about, stupid?
The left
I'm a conservative Republican. I vote out of Florida.
Oh, I got you. The left is
Yeah. My whole family's fucking Republicans, stupid. Yeah, but you're trying to. But the thing is this: if I lock you away from, let's say you want to come to Walmart, and I lock you out of Walmart.
talking about.
No, listen. Listen. Let's say you want to go to Walmart to provide for your family, but I lock you out of Walmart. And then I say, oh, look at your family. Your family's so poor because you can't shop at Walmart.
Like, thank you for not